Clinical tapping or emotional freedom technique is a fantastic way to reduce and manage stress in our lives. It's an evidence-based program. The science behind it over the last 10 to 15 years has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt how very effective it is for our nervous systems, for our brain, for us to regulate our emotions and to be able to cope and manage and reduce stress in real time, in real life. I'm going to explain how to do a basic round of tapping for stress management. First of all, I'm just going to explain briefly how it works. If we think of Dr. Dan Siegel's hand model of the head brain, we have the spinal cord that connects the brain and all the parts of the body, all the major organs in the body. And within there, of course, is the vagus nerve as well. We have the brain stem, the most primitive part of our brain. It's all about pure survival. If we lay the thumb across the center of our palm, that represents the limbic system, or the mammalian system, if you're thinking about the brain in an evolutionary sense. In there lives our radar for danger, our amygdala, and near it is the hippocampus, the place that stores our long and short-term memories, all our memories. When we sense danger, when we get upset, when we get triggered, the amygdala starts to fire up. It's our radar for danger. It's always looking around to protect us from danger. So when it starts to fire up, it blocks the hippocampus and we go into fight, flight, freeze, or even fawn or fall down. Yep. Over the top of that is our prefrontal cortex, this area just behind the forehead and the top of the skull, our wise adult. It's the most recent part of our brain to have developed. And in child development, it's the last part of our brain to be fully developed at around about 25 years old. So if you've got toddlers or young children, even up to about 10 years old, they mainly work from the downstairs brain. It's very hard for children to self-regulate, to keep this wise adult on top. As soon as the amygdala fires up, we flip our lids. This prefrontal cortex literally goes offline. We can't think clearly and we're left with an inner maniac or the radar for danger running the show. With clinical tapping, what happens is we physically tap on the body over 8 key acupressure points, and they send messages through our nervous system to our amygdala to calm it down, to let it know that we're not in danger, and it helps us to bring our prefrontal cortex, our wise adult, back online. So when we encounter stress in our lives, it's a fantastic way to we'll flip our lids when we feel that stress bite. We will flip our lids. We can't think clearly. We're no good in terms of communicating clearly and calmly with others. We need to bring the prefrontal cortex back online. The way to do it with tapping is to tap around 8 key points. There are 4 steps that we use in clinical tapping to work with basic stress reduction, and here's how it goes. First of all, we need to notice our signs that we're feeling stressed. For you, it might be, we all have different signs. It might be tight shoulders, it might be a racing heart, you might feel a wave of heat through the body, your ears might start ringing, you might feel tingling through the fingers, you might feel a little dissociated from the body, as if you're not quite completely in your body. Look out for those signs. When you notice that, because our body will always tell us first if we're off center. Once you notice those signs, pause for a moment and rate yourself out of 10 in terms of how high that stress or that body signal feels. 10 being the highest, 0 being nothing at all. So we only need to tap when we're feeling anything above 2 or 3. So notice the sign, rated out of 10. It's purely subjective and it's known as the subjective unit of distress. Then we do a setup statement. We can use either hand. We come about halfway below the pinky down the side of the hand. This is called the setup hand. And with the other hand, with 2 or 3 fingers, we just tap lightly and fairly, a little bit firmly on the side of the hand. And we have a setup statement, which always begins with even though. And we name some of those feelings of stress that we're feeling. So it might be, even though I'm feeling my heart pounding, I can't seem to think clearly. Yep, so those just 2 simple things. I'm feeling stressed. And then we finish off the statement with, and right here, right now, and it could be something like, I accept myself and all of these feelings. And we do this 3 times, even though I'm feeling my heart racing. I know I'm feeling stressed. I've got this big presentation to do today, and I'm feeling stressed about it. And right here, right now, I'm safe and sound. Even though I know I'm feeling stressed right now, it's a 6 out of 10. I can feel my heart racing. And right here, right now, I'm okay. So there's the setup statement. We do it 3 times. Even though, name the feeling, and then there's an acceptance in there. I accept myself and my feelings, or I'm okay, or I'm safe and sound. Once we've done that 3 times, we go on to 8 points around the head and the torso, and we summarize what we've just said. So the first is the inside of an eyebrow. It doesn't matter which side of the face you use or which hand you use. You can swap over at any time. And we tap about 7 times and we just summarize it. Feeling stressed. Side of the eye. I can feel my heart pounding. Under the eye. I've got this presentation today, or whatever it is that's making you feel stressed. Just below the nose and above the top lip. It's a 6 out of 10. Just below the bottom lip, above the chin, feeling stressed. It's a really important point to get right. Come down the collarbone and just drop a little bit below it, across from the sternum, on the ribs, feeling stressed. Under the arm, feeling stressed. Right on top of the head. It's a 6 out of 10. I'm feeling stressed. Let's do it again. We'll do another round. Feeling this stress. Feeling it in my heart. My heart is racing. I've got this presentation, or I've got this meeting, whatever it is. 6 out of 10 stress. Feeling stressed. Can't seem to breathe properly. Feeling stressed. It's a 6 out of 10. And then take a break. Have a slow, comfortable breath. Maybe breathing out through the mouth. The exhale's always a great way to release tension. And just notice now what you're feeling around that stress. You might notice that your subjective unit of distress has come down a little bit. Just notice where it might be now. It started at 6. Has it come down? Has it gone up? Maybe it's come down to about a 3. Notice what you're feeling in your body. It might be a sense of, a little bit of steadiness. Your breath might be flowing more easily. You might still feel a bit of tightness in the chest, or your heart might still be going fairly fast. So we tap again. Because we're working quite simply on the stress, we don't need to do another setup statement. We go straight back to the inside of the eyebrow, feeling this stress. Outside of the eye, feeling this stress. My heart is still, it's pretty fast. It's a 3 out of 10. Just below the bottom lip, feeling this stress. Feeling this stress. It's a 3. My heart's still beating pretty fast. And let's go again. It's usually good to do a couple of rounds. Feeling this stress. I've got that presentation or that meeting. Feeling this stress. It's a 3. But I can sense a bit of calmness arising. Shoulders are not so tight. Feeling this stress. It's a 3. And again, pause. Take a slow, steady breath. Feel yourself standing or sitting. Feel the breath flowing easily. And again, notice where you might be out of 10. And notice what physical sensations you might be experiencing. Your chest might feel a little softer. Shoulders might feel softer. You might have come from a 3 down to a 0 or a 1. When we get down to a 0 or a 1, we know that the amygdala has calmed down. If you're doing a presentation or an exam and you're feeling stressed about those things, we know that it's no longer pressing against the hippocampus. We can access our memories, the things that we've prepared, the things that we've learnt for the particular situation that we're getting ready for. We know that our prefrontal cortex is back online and we can think clearly and we can speak calmly and clearly. And so we just let the breath flow. We notice where we're at. If you've come down from a 3 to a 2, you might want to do one more round of tapping and really bring it down to a 0 or a 1. It's such an easy and quick way to reduce stress in our lives in real time. If you're in a work situation, you might want to just duck off to the loo for 5 minutes and do a little tapping round, or find somewhere more private. You might want to step outside to do that. You might want to teach your colleagues how to tap as well, and it becomes part of the culture of your workplace for stress reduction and stress management. If you're at home and the kids are going crazy and you need to take a breath and bring yourself back to sturdy center, you might want to step outside for a couple of minutes, or you might want to do it right there and then with your kids. One of the most powerful things we can do is show our kids how to self-regulate through our own selves, role modeling that. And you might want to teach your kids how to do it. Kids respond really, really well to tapping. If you're going into an exam, you might want to find somewhere a little more private and tap. But truly, it takes 5 minutes to do a little tapping round to reduce your stress. I am not shy at all about using it in public. I have used it on the beach. I've used it out in the water. I've used it in shopping centres. I really don't mind who sees me tapping and talking away to myself, but that's up to you, whether you want to be a bit more discreet. Anyway, I find it an absolutely wonderful emotional self-regulation tool. I can feel it calming my downstairs brain. I can feel my wise adult coming back online, and as we use it, clear, wise thoughts rise up in us and give us great direction. I'm Dr. Alice McKinnon, Stillness Ninja.